Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, awesome.
Hello, everybody. We are Nicole and Kia, co-founders of Glamourina Activewear. We are the go-to activewear brand for culturally conscious women, founded here in the DC area. And we are doing a takeover today to give you guys some information
Yay.
about our business, how we navigate our business, and just kind of giving some tools and tips on business in general, especially in the e-commerce space.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much, DC Now Events, for having us on here to be able to take over your Instagram tonight. We are so happy to be here.
Yep, and I've pinned the topic. We will be taking questions throughout. So if you guys have any questions, please drop a question in the question box. So Kia, we have I think three main topics that we're going to be touching on tonight.
Okay.
Is there anything that you wanted to maybe add about the business before we kind of go into some topics?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Kia and that's Nicole. We're the co-owners of Glamourina, the go-to activewear brand for culturally conscious women. Nicole and I came together in 2015 and decided that Black women are underrepresented in the athletic market. And so we wanted to do something about that. And we decided to create our own culturally inspired activewear and launched our first collection in 2017. And we have launched a collection ever since. And we just launched our fourth collection, the Tribe collection, back in September of this year. So we're super excited to be a part of the DC Now Events IG takeover, to really just talk about what it's like having a business in e-commerce, some of the challenges, some things that we faced during COVID, and really just give some insights, some tips. If you guys have any questions, I'm already seeing some questions on here. I know, Nicole, I think you know how to put those up on the screen. But we just are, like I said, super excited to be here. And if you guys have any questions about how it's like having a business, definitely please put them in the comments below.
Yeah, and we will answer the questions that are in the comments, but if you can tap the question mark button so that you can add the question, so we can display it for everyone to see in case your question goes away, so everyone can kind of be in the loop of what your question was. But
Yeah.
how are you maintaining momentum of new customers during the pandemic? We can definitely address that now, but it's just a drive. For one, I feel like that you have to have as a business owner. You have to have that drive to stay motivated, to persevere throughout anything that your business may be dealing with.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, being an online e-commerce business, sales have definitely, and I think also being in the active fitness world, sales have definitely exceeded our expectations this year due to the pandemic, along with other things going on in the world, just being conscious of Black-owned brands. So many things contributed to us succeeding during the pandemic. But I definitely think just staying motivated, because there can be things that occur that deter you, or kind of make you feel discouraged, but just staying motivated and definitely having a business partner helps sometimes to kind of bounce that energy back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a lot going on this year. Obviously, with a lot of different things, the election, especially in the beginning of the year, with all of the police brutality and things that were coming up. So, in terms of maintaining momentum, Nicole and I talk about this all the time, but after that police brutality, there's been a stronger discussion on supporting Black-owned businesses. So I think that for Glamourina, as well as I'm sure a lot of other Black-owned businesses, there was kind of a push. There was more momentum in terms of support for our business because we're Black owned. The Glamourina is owned by us, two Black women, and that discussion of, you know, how can we support our own community, people that have businesses in our community? How can we support them? So definitely this year, I think there's been a stronger momentum in terms of people coming in to support our business and our brand.
Absolutely. And for anyone who's just joining or may have missed the introductions, my name is Nicole and that's Kia. We are the co-founders of Glamourina Activewear. We were founded in the DC area. We started our journey here. And now our brand has been taken, you know, we're pretty well known throughout the country, and we've expanded our audience, you know, throughout other countries as well. So we've done a great deal of work growing our brand, coming out of the DC area and just kind of expanding to a global market. So we're just kind of going live with you, taking over. Thank you, DC Now Events, for having us today. And we're really going to be talking about the e-commerce space and kind of giving you guys some information, taking questions. Please tap the question mark if you have a question so that we can post the question for everyone else to see. They can stay in the loop with the question that we're responding to.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, thank you. I think we can probably go into, we have 3 major topics to talk about tonight. So we'll go into the first one, and that one is identifying gaps to fulfill customer needs, which I think is important not only for e-commerce businesses, but of course, any business. So I don't know if you want to start, Kia, on this one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think with any business, it's important to find out what the gaps are. You really need to find your niche in terms of, you know, for us personally, obviously there are a lot of athletic clothing lines for women already out there. So we really wanted to find kind of a niche and kind of find out, you know, what's missing for the women in our community, and to be able to, you know, kind of fill in those gaps. So I think us providing culturally inspired activewear, it's not, you know, our colors are different, our patterns are different. And so us really coming up with something that's unique and also representative of who we are and where we're from was one part of us fulfilling in, you know, a gap to fulfill the customer's needs. And also, when I was looking over this question, I was just thinking about one thing that Nicole and I did. We really studied our competitors. We have obviously, you know, the top brands, Nike, Lululemon, things like that, but more so studying our direct competitors. And I think we did a lot, but one important thing that we did was really look at, here's just an example, the return policy. We really looked at the return policy of a lot of our direct competitors and try to, you know, find whatever gaps there were that maybe we're not fulfilling all the customers' needs, and to see if we could provide that. So I think, you know, we've increased the amount of days that our customers can return or exchange their products. And while we're a small business and we can't accept returns, we have like extended the number of days for customers to be able to reach out to exchange. I know some brands, you have like 5 days to contact them. So just little things like that where we really researched and studied to see, you know, where are some businesses doing some things that maybe could be improved and to be more helpful for our customers.
Yeah, and I'll add one thing to that, and then we have a few questions so we can start answering some questions. But I think as far as identifying gaps to fulfill customer needs, one thing that we also believe strongly in is always listening to our audience, always asking our audience for feedback, taking that feedback and actually utilizing it to make our business better and to really fulfill the customer's needs better. So I think that's something important. I feel like, you know, we've grown so much, you know, in the past few years, but I think it's important to continue to have that at the top of your mind. Like, don't think you figured out the formula, because I think the formula is always changing. So just to not get comfortable in one space, but to always, you know, listen and hear, you know, get that feedback directly from your consumers is important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's one question here. How can we support your business directly or indirectly?
Well, directly, obviously, is shopping Glamourina. So you can find us at our website, glamourina.com. And then indirectly, there's so many different ways that you can support a business, not just Glamourina, but any Black-owned business. You can support if you're not really in the mood to spend money, sharing their pictures, tagging your friends on their social media posts, really just word of mouth. I think that with any product that you have, if you're excited about that product, you just automatically tell people about it. If I found a great toothpaste or, a flat iron that I love, I'm going to tell my friends about it. So why not do the same for Black-owned businesses, whether you've shopped them before or not? If they just look like something interesting, if you see their social media posts, if you see them on Facebook, like what have you, just tagging your friends and telling other people and really spreading the word about that brand. So even especially for men, because we don't have a men's line, if you see, oh, these ladies are doing something great, tell your female friends about it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't have someone to buy the product for, just word of mouth, I think really goes a long way to really help indirectly supporting businesses.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't necessarily have to be a social media thing, even though it's a social media world. If you're tuning into this live today and you've learned about Glamourina, the next person you talk to, you can just say, hey, have you heard of Glamourina? They're from the DMV area. They're doing great things. Yeah. Something as simple as that, where it doesn't really take much effort, but it's a little thing like that can support us greatly too in an indirect way.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question in here.
I like how you could put the questions on the screen. I did not know you could do that.
Technology. All right, this is a one that I picked because I think we just recently talked about it, and I think it's perfect for the moment, for the time, the upcoming holiday. How are you preparing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday to prevent web crash due to your popularity? Now, as far as web crash goes, that is something that I feel like sometimes even the biggest of brands can't avoid. Yep. Technology, has come a long way, and I think our site is at a point where it should be able to hold up. Yeah. We do, however, expect for Cyber Monday to sell out our current collection. We do hope, I will hope and expect that because, we have this new collection that just released not too long ago. The pieces are amazing. The response has been amazing. Our brand notoriety has been through the roof and going. And we are doing our biggest sale. Even last year, I don't think we did this type of sale. Yeah. In previous years, we may have done this big of a sale, but I think this is also Cyber Monday is going to be the biggest sale in over a year for us. So I think our audience will take full advantage of it. We are doing, I'll go ahead and say it now. We are planning to do 50% off of our store on Cyber Monday. So I think, I think we're prepared. We're definitely prepared to take on. I think our website will do pretty good. I'm praying. I'm praying.
Absolutely. And I'm confident that our website will be able to handle the amount of traffic. I mean, to be honest, when we did our pre-order, we had a pre-order date, September 15th, and we got thousands of people coming to the site and shopping all at once. And we luckily, God willing, we haven't had any problems in the past. And so we're confident that we're not going to have any problems in terms of a lot of traffic coming to the site.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed. Let's go with this question here. What was your marketing strategy did you deploy to scale so fast? Before we answer this question, I do want to just kind of reintroduce ourselves again because I know new people may have joined. My name is Nicole, and this is my business partner, Kia, here. We are the co-founders of Glamourina Activewear. Definitely check us out. We started this brand here in the DC area, and we create culturally inspired activewear activewear to inspire and motivate women of color to live healthier, more active lifestyles.
Absolutely. And we're so thankful that DC Now Events has allowed us to take over their Instagram tonight. We're happy to be a part of the team, just really showcasing women, Black women, especially Black-owned businesses. And really our topics tonight is just talking about, being a woman in e-commerce. Of course, my headphones falling out. Being a woman in e-commerce right now, how it's been with COVID and just, some of the challenges, again, if you guys have any questions about what it's been like to run a business either now or, for this amount of years, any suggestions or tips that you guys would love to hear from us, please, put them in the comment section below. We'll definitely are so happy to answer all questions just about what it's like running a business, being a mom. You guys will probably hear my daughter crying in the background if you haven't already. And so, it's a lot going on with the pandemic. But, we have been doing really, really well. Glamourina has been really successful. More successful this year than any previous year, which is always the goal in terms of running a business, that each year is better than the other. So COVID hasn't really affected us too bad negatively outside of like shipping delays. But Nicole and I, both trying to work from home, working full-time jobs, and working Glamourina, which is a full-time job. And then we're both mothers of young daughters, and that's a full-time job. So it's been a struggle at times, yes. But I just love sharing that story because I feel like whether you're a mom or not, I definitely think that everybody can relate. If you have a personal project, if you're running a business, whatever that you're doing right now, like how difficult it is that, to be able to manage all of those things. So yeah, Nicole and I are just happy to be here to share our story, share a little insight, again, and talk about how it's been like to be women in the e-commerce business.
Yeah. And I think, Kia, you touched on something really important that I think other people, especially entrepreneurs, will greatly benefit from, because I've gotten this question a few times. It's like, you have it all together, but no, we don't. We don't have it all together. I want to be as transparent with people as possible in that we get overwhelmed, we get stressed out, but the success factor is not giving up and staying motivated. Because I mean, right. God, like working full time, taking on the increase that Glamourina has brought us as far as the workload, doing this online learning for my child at home. I mean, you're a teacher, a mom, you're like, you're just so much. So it's not that we don't get stressed out. We're human beings just like everyone else. And so we just have to find ways to cope and to stay balanced and to find that line of balance in our lives to be able to still be successful and to not give up.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys can tell with the makeup that I have on, but I'm exhausted. I try to cover up the bags under my eyes. But like you said, Nicole, it's definitely been a lot. I think this it touches a little bit on this question that we have from Big Mike here in terms of marketing strategy. I would say, he's saying, what was your marketing strategy that we did to employ to scale so fast? Man, it was a lot, but I think the first piece of the marketing strategy from the first couple of years that Nicole and I, started Glamourina, we did not have a public relations manager or anybody to really guide us and help us. This whole business, Nicole and I did not go to school for business. So that's always an encouragement for people that are interested in running a business. You're like, I got to go to school. I need to get my degree. While that's great, it is still possible to still have a business and not have gone to school for business. I got a degree in something completely different. But so this whole process of running a business has been completely a learning process for Nicole and I. So the first thing that we quickly realized is that we needed a little bit of help. So I want to say shout out to Camille from Montage PR. I knew Camille as a friend years ago, but when we, talked to her about really joining our team and helping us develop a marketing strategy and what do we do, I think it's been a blessing. It's definitely taken some of the stress outside of us trying to figure out everything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as a marketing strategy, it's very important to have one because you kind of need that to help you scale your brand. So just, you may have one customer base already, but developing a marketing plan that will allow you to reach other audiences, really target your reach is important. So, like Kia said, We hired a PR. You know, we work with other agencies as far as like doing advertisements, you know, just different things. We have a brand ambassador program that helps with our marketing strategy to really show real women that real women help make up this brand. So I think that's another part of our, we have so many components, especially for our 2020 collection launch. We try to incorporate as many marketing avenues as possible to really see how far we can stretch this brand and our reach. And I think it's really paying off. I mean, some better than others. Some may have been bad investments or not as great of an investment, but somehow, some way, they all work together to really help us to scale this business at a, you know, more rapid rate than we have in the past.
Yeah, and I think that one, like Nicole mentioned, we did a couple different things. One of our strategies was to create several different marketing channels. So there are a lot of different outlets, whether it's been, you know, features in magazines and publications, podcast interviews, the brand ambassador program. Shout out to our brand ambassadors. We have 25 ambassadors from all over. We love you, ladies. We have just been doing a lot of different things. So we have several different marketing channels that really help, you know, market our brand and our business.
Yeah, and I think the good part about us doing that now, I mean, Glamourina is totally going to grow so much more in the future. But I think one good component of having these multiple marketing channels right now is that Kia and I can look at these marketing channels, see what came of it, how much we invested in these channels. And that way in the future, we know what works, what doesn't work, you know, how much we should spend in certain on certain channels if we're, you know, doing paid channels. And that's just going to help to continue to grow the brand even more. So I would say to another entrepreneur is to test out some marketing channels, see how it works for your brand and your market, so that you can know if it's something you should move forward with, or, you know, if you should explore other options.
And before we move on, again, we just want to say that I'm Kia and this is Nicole. We are the co-owners of Glamourina, the go-to activewear brand for culturally conscious women. Thank you, everyone who has joined this conversation, who has stayed on the conversation. We're so happy to be a part of DC Now Events, to be, you know, have been invited to take over their Instagram on this Wednesday night, and really discuss topics about how it's been, you know, us being women in the e-commerce business. So that's the discussion tonight. If you guys have any questions, need any advice, anything like that, definitely feel free to post those in the comment section and we will be sure to answer them.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put another question here. What made you go to the e-commerce route as opposed to a storefront? Oh, wow. So there's so many reasons. And I think one major thing, I mean, I don't think the initial plan was never to even consider either or. When Kia first approached me as, you know, to go into business together, the idea of having an online business, whatever it was going to be, was already there. There was no, you know, do you want to do a business with me? And, you know, you can either do online or a storefront. And I think that probably is one, because having a physical storefront, there's more overhead costs associated with the business. So that would have been taking a huge leap of faith, having no business idea, no concept, no, you know, data to support our business model. And then just investing all of that in the storefront would have been crazy.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like this kind of ties into our next topic in terms of, I don't have the questions in front of me. I know it was about pivoting during the pandemic. Not to say that e-commerce is like, you know, foolproof. However, we having an e-commerce, you know, platform, we were already ready for something like a pandemic. I mean, luckily, we didn't have to worry about, you know, do we need to close down our store? And not to say that anyone that has worked very hard to get, you know, a brick and mortar store, you know, I'm not downing that at all. It's just that, as you mentioned, you have to really think about all the other costs associated with renting a space, on top of, you know, creating your brand and everything else. So in terms of, you know, how our business has been during the pandemic, we didn't really lose out. We didn't have to close, if that's what I'm trying to say. You know, I mean, we were pretty much prepared for something happens in the world and you can't get out, you can still shop online. So that's kind of the great and, you know, wonderful benefits of having an e-commerce store as opposed to a storefront, is that you can be open 24/7. You know what I mean? There are no closing times. You can shop. I mean, people can come to your website and shop at midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning, which interestingly, we have had traffic on the site at 3 in the morning. I don't know what people are doing up, but people are up on their phones. So I feel like you have more opportunities to showcase your brands too, being an online site. Because again, at whatever time it is, anywhere in the world, people can come to your website and shop, look, browse, what have you. And that's the great thing compared to just being in one location, at least starting out.
Yeah, and I think we all know, I think it's pretty clear that we're in a digital age, and that's going to continue to expand over the years. But I think being able to kind of predict or foresee the future when you're launching a business or when you're determining your next steps for your business is important. And when we came together to brainstorm what we were going to do, that was 2015. So that was 5 years ago. And so we already, 5 years. That's
I know.
But yeah, we kind of already had this in our, not that we can predict the future, but we already were like, you know, we're in a digital age. We maybe didn't know how far the digital or tech world would be at this point 5 years later, but we already knew where kind of the world was going, and we thought it was a smart decision at the time. That's one thing that we knew, that you know, this was the best option for us. And like he has said, I mean, you can reach people all over the world, so why not? Low cost, reaching more people.
It just works out perfect.
And I was going to say too, I mean, it may not work for every business. You know what I mean? Some businesses, you may have to have that physical contact to feel a product, smell a product, taste a product, things like that. But for us, it definitely made sense. Couple more questions in here. Definitely, you guys, if you have questions, drop them in the question box so we can get to them.
Absolutely.
Okay, what are 3 rule of thumbs of starting an e-commerce? And does your geographical location matter?
Well, to answer that second part of the question, I don't think that your geographical location matters, because like I mentioned before, you know, having an e-commerce site, you can reach anyone and everyone around the world, in which we have. We've had traffic from the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, Africa. I mean, every continent, we've had someone come and visit and shop our site. And so I don't think where you're located necessarily matters in terms of when you have an e-commerce site. 3 rules of thumb. Nicole, do you have a rule that you want to say?
I will, but I do think, I was just going to say on the geographical location part, I think it can depend on where you locate and what type of business you're running. So if you have the resources where you're located to run the type of business that you want to run, then yes, I think it can work. But I know in certain parts of the world, there may be limitations with certain things, technology or resources. And in that case, there may be some difficulties. But if you have the resources in where you are located to run the type of business that you want to run, I think go for it. You should be fine. As far as rule of thumbs or 3 rule of thumbs, starting an e-commerce space, I think 1, have your foundation, you know, make sure that your home or your domain is user friendly as far as your website goes. I think that's something that we're always evaluating, you know, how is our customer or consumer interacting with our website? So if you're going to be online, your online space, your home, you know, your store, it needs to be user friendly and easy and accessible to, you know, anyone in the world who you hope to come to your site. So that's 1.
Yeah, I think another rule of thumb, really understanding your market. You know what I mean? We talk about this a lot. I know someone is commenting, yes, the Google optimization, your search engine optimization, that's important for e-commerce platform. Absolutely. But I think understanding what your market is going to be, you know, and just more than just, you know, I'm going to create apparel for women. Well, how old are the women and how much money do they make and where do they normally shop? And what are their interests? What are their hobbies? That really takes some time and some research to really, you got to go as deep in as possible in terms of your market, because that is going to help you understand how to market to your target audience. You know, if you're, oh, sorry, pause out. If your apparel line is for, you know, older women, then obviously you're not going to be broadcasting young girls in the advertisement with crop tops and their stomachs out. You know what I mean? So you just really have to know not just, you know, the sex of the audience, but everything. Like I said, how much money they make, because that's going to determine, you know, what your selling price is for your apparel. If your audience are broke college students, you can't sell a shirt for $30. I mean, you can try, but again, it would be hard, and it just would not really work. It wouldn't be sustainable. So I think that's a second rule of thumb, is just really knowing and understanding who your market is, who your audience is, who you're going to be selling to, whether it's a product or a service.
Absolutely. So I'm going to recap the two, and then I have one more that I think kind of gives you the full scope if you're planning to start an e-commerce. So we said one was to make sure that your website, your home, your storefront is user friendly. That way your customers can navigate and purchase. Kia
Right.
mentioned knowing your audience and doing your research. So that way, if you're marketing, you've done your research, you get those people to that user friendly site. And then I would say three, make sure that you're capable of fulfilling your orders and your requests. Make sure your customer
Yeah.
service the customer service aspect of your business is on point. You don't want to have to do all this research, you know,
Yeah.
marketing, finding these people, getting them to this user-friendly site, and you can't fulfill your orders. You can't respond to your customers' emails. That would totally suck. That defeats everything that you just went through to, you know, to get your business started. When you're going to have negative reviews, people are going to be deterred from shopping with you or purchasing from you.
Yep.
So I would say that will probably be the third step, is to make sure that your customer service, um, that customer service aspect of your business is on point.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for taking time out to join our live conversation. I'm Kia, this is Nicole, and we are the co-owners of Glamourina, the go-to activewear brand for culturally conscious women. We launched our fourth collection, the Tribe collection, of this year, back in October. And we're just super excited that DC Now Events invited us to come and take over their Instagram and talk about women in business, how it's like having an e-commerce business, and everything else, you know, what it's like running our business during this pandemic, being moms and working and trying to keep this business afloat. Again, if you guys have questions, need some tips, anything, please put them in the comments below. We are happy to help and offer any of our insights. I mean, we're not experts, but we're experts in Glamourina. And we definitely, this has been a learning process, as I mentioned earlier, learning process in terms of building and growing our business. We started from scratch. We started from nothing. And Glamourina is super successful. And we've been featured in a lot of publications: Essence, Marie Claire, Bella Magazine, Women's Health, Heart and Soul. I mean, we've been featured in so many different places. So one of our goals is to give back any information, any tips, any suggestions for other business owners, for other moms, for other, you know, people that are interested in creating a business. That's what we're here for. So thank you again for joining our Instagram Live. Thank you, DC Now Events, for having us on here for the Biz Takeover to discuss women in business.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the question box so we can display it for everyone else to see, to catch up. But I do see this question in the comments: what platform is hosting your website? Right now, we are using WordPress for our site. There's so many great options out here. You have to really figure out what works for you and your type of business.
Yeah.
To be honest and transparent, we are looking into potentially transferring our site elsewhere. Just trying to see, like, one of the questions earlier was if we, you know, if we are prepared for a potential crash during Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And your host and where your site is housed is important when you want to think about certain things like that. So it's always good to see what's on the market, you know, what
Yeah.
vendors are out there, and the pros and cons of each, to see if you're using something already, if that's the best option, or if you should change,
Yeah.
etc. So Do you have a time count, Kia? I don't even have a clock with me.
Uh,
No.
I have 8:10. Oh wow, the
Eight
time
ten?
is going by so fast.
Okay. So I think we have to wrap up soon, but I want to try to get to the last point. And definitely, guys, before we go, if you have a question, definitely pop it in. Someone just popped in a question. So I don't know if we should get to this question or yeah, I guess let's get to the questions. We definitely want to be there for you and help
Yeah,
in any way we can. So
yeah, definitely.
how do you get media support to help get the word out about what you do? Definitely an important question. I'm not sure if you were on when we mentioned earlier as far as our marketing strategies, but one key component to really getting out there in the media and having your brand to be like featured or just advertised through different outlets is having a PR or working with a
Hmm.
PR agency. I think that's so important. I think that helped us a great deal in
Yeah.
really expanding our reach with the brand. So
Hmm.
we work with Montage PR, but definitely having a PR to really manage, help you create pitches to these media outlets and things like that is
Yeah.
really vital to try to get that media support. Because think about
Yeah.
it, so every other brand is trying to get media support as well.
Right.
So
Hmm.
having a PR helps with that.
Yeah, I think having someone professional, if you can, especially if PR, marketing, things like that is not your background, it's just vital to have somebody who knows what they're doing. Shout out to Camille, who
You're
knows
welcome.
how to draft up a public release, a press release. About your brands. If you have a product or service or something happening you're about to launch, how are you going to let people know? You can't just like personally email them. Not everybody will take you serious because they don't know who you are. So having a PR manager, be able to pitch, your press release, and also having a fact sheet. These are things that a public relations manager would know about. You need to have a one sheet that really wraps up your entire business all in one paper, not a whole document, not the business plan, but just something simple and effective to be able to really, show on paper what you do, what your business is about. And so that's definitely one way to get media support is having a professional, not to say that you can't, but having a professional with a background reach out. We've literally had people that we emailed personally years ago, never heard back. Camille emailed them, got a response in 24 hours. So I think that's definitely just an important suggestion.
Yeah, and I think we have to wrap, but I definitely want to say again, thank you to anyone who joined today. Again, my name is Nicole and that's Kia. We are the co-founders of Glamourina Activewear. We provide culturally inspired activewear for women of color primarily to really encourage and motivate you to live healthy, active lifestyles. Definitely check us out. You can go to our page. Kia is joined from our page Glamourina.com. We have our 2020 Tribe collection out now. It's selling out fast, so definitely try
Mm-hmm.
to, check out our site, see what's there for you, and check us out. Spread the word. Like someone asked earlier, if you want to indirectly support us, tell someone about the live you listened to today and our brand. And that's as simple as,
Yeah.
as simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you again, DC Noun Events, for having us be able to take over IG Live today. If you missed the conversation, you can watch this again on the DC Noun Events Instagram page. I'm Kia as Nicole. We're again the co-owners of Glamourina, the go-to activewear brand for culturally conscious women. You guys can support us by shopping at glamourina.com and also, finding us on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And get ready for that Cyber Monday sale because it's going to be huge. So thank you guys
It
for
will.
joining us tonight, and thank you again, DC Now Events, for having us.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.